Okay, let's take a look at how to create your CEU portal. So you go to the provider's portal, and now it's asking you to create your account. You need to make sure that this is going to match the email that you had associated with your previous programs if you want those to port over. So after you agree to the terms and conditions, let you read that on your own time, you will do sign in to continue. And just like with creating the license, you're going to need to create your account. So what we'll do is you'll sign up now. Then send the verification code. And again, go to your email to check for that code. So let's go look at the email. So we've pasted that number in from the email. We will now verify the code and that this is the email we're going to use. We need to go ahead and create our password for that. Much like the password for your user account, it's got to have at least 3 of the 4, lowercase, uppercase, number, and some sort of a symbol. So confirm that password. They should match. And then put in the name and then your company or who you're with. So if your county extension, putting your county extension in there would be great. All right, and it's going to ask for that double verification, so it's going to send a code yet again. So we've grabbed that, we'll verify. And now it's going to get us into the system. All right, so this is where, all right, so this one is for our office, so we are just going to have to create a birth date and then fill the rest of this out, much like you would your license, where you can have a home address that's different from the mailing address, which is different from the business address. So I will say this, like our license, you have to select your county. Make sure to go ahead and do that as well. And then fill out your business address. You can't just select it, but you can make that whatever you want. That we're all providers. I would recommend these addresses all be your county extension office address. Once you've filled everything out, do a final check through that you've grabbed all of the boxes that are starred, that everything's entered correct, and then submit. And then that should create your profile. Now you should be able to go into the portal, agree that you've read and understood all the conditions above, and then once in here, you should see as your classes begin to be moved over and they're populated, you're going to see those programs in this system. You'll come up here to the top bar, and that will take you to your program IDs. Ours have not come over yet, but as those begin to merge, we will then see those programs in here. In our case, some of ours have pulled over as classes. And when you do that, you can then see the information on your classes, and you could then edit where those locations are, what times they're offered, when they expire, upload your attendance. This is really important. This is how you can upload attendance. You can either add individual attendees, and for that you would put in their license number, same format that it has been before, where there cannot be a space between the letters and the number, and you want those letters capitalized. Or you can upload from a spreadsheet. So you could come in here and generate it from a spreadsheet. And just like before, if you want to generate a blank attendance sheet, that's going to be down here at the bottom. So remember, this was in classes. We selected our class. We went to attendance. Scroll down here and hit submit. All right, you can see from previous efforts, it's actually going to show up here in your document. So if we go to generate a blank sheet, you hit submit. It is then going to populate down into this documents area. From there, you would click the link, and now it has downloaded into my download. So you can see it up here in my downloads on my browser or onto the downloads in your computer. So that is where you can generate the attendance sheets. The same will be if you add an actual attendee. So we submit me, and now we've got somebody that's in there, or we can remove that attendee. Or if we go back in and add an attendee, from there you can then print attendance sheet, generate, and now down in your documents, you should have an attendance sheet that shows up. And then when we go to submit, so it takes a few minutes. You may have to refresh your browser. But if we go over to page 2, there I am. So that generated my attendance sheet. We open that and we see it filled in with the information that is needed. If you're going to be sending this to somebody, you need to make sure that you have signed. So if we go back to CEU Home, this would also be where we would create a brand new program. So much like the old one, you're going to create a new program, and then you are going to fill out all of the information. And I would say what's great about this compared to maybe previous versions is it will save as you go. So if I get this started and I'm not ready to completely submit, you can get that done. But this is CEUs for all test of the system. Let's show you some of the other things. There's our provider. You can add sponsors if there are different sponsors. This is actually going to be an online class. We're going to say that it's going to start. Now, here's where we can see that it builds in already almost 3 weeks of lead time. So you've got to be prepared for getting your materials ready, just like before. So let's say we're going to do it on the 23rd. Next, you're going to fill in your agenda and speaker details. Just like before, a generalized description of what you're doing. So this is an online class with mandatory checks and no fast forward or second browser. This is Albert Gator, amazing speaker and current national champions. Go Gators. Can't help myself. We do have the ability to offer other languages. So if you have Spanish available or a different language, you can select that here so that when people are searching, they know what you're offering it in. If you don't add any, the default is obviously English, but there are a few options: English, Creole, other. So this one is just going to be in English, or you could leave that blank, I believe. Okay. Next, this will be what categories we are requesting. So let's say that this would count for agro 1 hour, and then we're going to have to come back in, and now it's going to be ag tree 1 hour, and then let's just say private because that's a pretty common 3B there. If you're talking about, ag related things, it makes sense to have those be what you're doing. So we'll add our final category, which will be private for 1 hour. All right. Now you can add co-providers. So I'm going to add myself to this. And nothing shows up because I haven't ported over, would be my guess. It looks like a lot of folks just haven't come over yet. Let's see if maybe it searches. There I am. So I can select myself, add it, and now I'm a co-provider to this. Let's go to next. And then this is where you could add additional classes. So putting where it is, when it is, all of that. In our case, this would be at our website. We'll populate that in. and that will show them where the class is going to be, who the contact information is, who the contact would be. That's for when people have questions. Here, that this is online, it's going to run from there until the same date in 2026. So we'll do April 22nd, available, and then any additional comments. Now, at this point, you would submit, but I am not going to do that because I don't want to create a false course, right? And then when that is done, this should show up in your list of programs and classes, and you'll be able to make edits, change things as you need to.